Well, hey everybody, how are you? We're going to talk about getting unstuck and becoming unstoppable today, and talk about some of the ways people are stuck. And this may resonate with you. You may feel that you can relate to some of these. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for about 30 seconds for some of you to jump on live, and we've been having a good time in these videos. And so those of you who are watching maybe this video, or you're here on the page for the first time, be sure to check out some of the other videos. There are a lot of them. There are also videos on my YouTube channel called Paralegal Career Mastermind, and look for that channel and you can watch a lot of those videos. My recommendation is that you take notes as I list points, so that and put them in a notebook that you have a theme to. That it may be getting unstuck is one notebook, or forging ahead, not being afraid, that type of thing. And then there might be a notebook that is just for paralegal skills that you need to become better at and up your game in. Okay, so let's talk about it's a condition that most humans face. So the tendency is to feel that shame about it. No need for that. Every human will be stuck at one point, and we can feel that way now, feeling stuck, before we were allowed to, say, go into certain businesses, right? Because of the quarantine as I record this video. So let's talk about what being stuck feels like, okay? And later on we'll discuss how it impacts this field that you're looking at going into. So feeling stuck is the result of confusion, chaos, keeping fear inside, not talking about it, letting it out. You're overwhelmed. I can relate to all of those. I don't know about you, but I can. Feeling lost, not having a clear picture of what you're supposed to do. Maybe pessimism, where you're always looking at the negative, and maybe you were raised in a house like that, or that's who you became. But that's going to leave you with this incredible feeling of negativity and feeling stuck. So a lot of it has to do with things that occurred, again, how you were raised or your choices you've made, and that pathway from the past led you down a dark path. So watch some of the videos from, I would say, the last 5 or so on this page, and I think they will help, okay? So listen to some of these. Maybe they will strike a chord with you, okay? What are those things that help you get stuck? The fear of failure is a big one going into this career. That what if I can't do it? That is one of the number one fears that people tell me about. The rejection. What if I face rejection? What if they fire me because I'm so terrible at my job? Now, there are all solutions to this, okay? But this is what gets us stuck and keeps us from moving forward. Disapproval from others about this dream that you have. So instead, we go after goals that make other people happy. I looked at being a teacher a long time ago, and there was like a bad remark made to me when that this was after I was married, about that's not an honor. It's not really that great of a profession. I disagree. Obviously, I disagree. But listening to that didn't make me want to go into it, because now I've got to face opposition. See? So you say your dreams to the wrong people instead of just going forward, and then you get cut down, and then the dream is put on hold by you. No need for that. Okay? Number 2, the procrastination habit can produce anxiety. And procrastination is very often rooted in that fear of what others will say, of your non-belief in yourself, that you could do some things that you've never done before. And I call myself, just a side note, a recovering procrastinator. I fight it all the time. Number 3, you can't seem to get control over your time and your schedule, and you never seem to allocate even 10 minutes to research something online to give you more knowledge about the paralegal field, or up your game regarding your skills in Microsoft Word, perhaps. You don't give yourself that time. Your schedule, I'm too busy. Look, everybody has 10 or 15 minutes. It means that you're going to up your game while you're eating lunch. That's the only time I really had in my schedule if I wanted to change anything, because I had a family at home too. And when I was living in Oklahoma, I was cooking dinner for the kids when I was a stay-at-home mom. But when I went to work, it was like I was always worrying about them and what they were going to eat and everything. I couldn't get that schedule under control, and I finally had to allocate my lunch hour totally to me. So if I wanted to go research something, I could. Okay, so this is number 4. This goes into friendships, romantic relationships. You find yourself in dysfunctional relationships because you don't require what you need. That goes for jobs too. I want you to require what you need. That comes down to doing the best interview possible and understanding that this is a good place for you to be. Okay? They're not all good places. You've been in some horrendous places, I'm sure, in your past work life, or maybe you're currently or have been in that. I have been too. So you have to require better for yourself. Okay? So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this goes with that. You rarely ask for what you want or need. Like, what do you need? What will make you happy? That's why I push you about what area of law fits your personality. Go get either the whole book, Legal Break-In, which is on my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, or the free chapter that's there, or both. But you can get either, whatever you need. You have to get what is good for you in your career. Okay? And the last one, you've attempted to break a bad habit, but your efforts only last for a short time because there's no focus, and sometimes there's no caring about your health, and that goes for mental health too. Hi, Bridget, good to see you. So take that into, when I talk about what area of law would make you happy, well, what area of law would be good for your mental health and your well-being? What kind of law firm do you need to be in so that you feel content? You are already worthy of that. You are already worthy of that. So don't think you have to earn that. God already thinks you're worthy. No need to earn that, So, being stuck can be a way of life that we get used to, and that we don't climb out of it. We just swirl around in it because it becomes our comfort zone, right? And instead, we've got to, it's literally breaking out. So while you might, if you've ever had a parent or been in a relationship where somebody was very dominant and controlling, it's like breaking out of a box to get away from that. That's being stuck. Okay, and it takes a lot to break out of it. And sometimes we say, well, this is just how it is. It's always, no, that's a choice. Watch yesterday's video, I believe, where I talked about choices. So, when I was in that terrible corporation, the corporate job, not in legal, it was non-legal. I was an administrative assistant. I had to take a leap. And that's what you have to do as well, right? Take a leap. It's not the biggest risk. It's not, good grief, it's not like walking the risk that our nurses and doctors are taking right now by working with very ill people, right? It's not even close to that. So how big is that risk, really? We make it bigger in our mind than it really is. Sometimes what's wrapped up in that is, well, what are people going to say if I don't make it? You know what? What the British say is you have a stiff upper lip. That means, you just gotta, you gotta take the naysayers, but don't give them food either. Don't add fuel to the fire asking for their opinions when you know what you're going to get. So that will just keep you stuck longer, okay, by listening to that and by listening to negative self-talk coming from you, okay? So what's the worst? What is the worst that can happen? It's not a life or death decision, okay? It's that sometimes when you say, when I asked the other day, and you can look at that graphic below, what is your motivation right now? Everybody had a little bit of a different answer. I'm going to read your comment, Bridget. Ah, that's interesting. Yeah. Bridget says, I think that people automatically think of criminal law when they think of the legal field. The legal field has many other areas to specialize in. It does. And I tell people all the time to go on Google and research those areas. But a lot of people know that there's bankruptcy law. They know that there's personal injury law. But sometimes it's like maybe they know 5 areas or 3 to 5 areas, and then the world opens up when you go research. So that's what I tell you to do, okay? So I'm going to read you yesterday and the day before, I believe, and watch those videos. I'm going to read a passage from Isaiah 43:18-19. Short passage. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. So don't go through this without understanding that God is right by your side and that he has a plan and a purpose for you. Again, watch the last 2 videos I've done, okay? So, is it where you have to wallow in being stuck? No. It's a choice to become unstuck and to dig deep, drill down deep into what's causing this in you. And then you can start to strip away those things that are causing you to be stuck. In order for me to, while we're not in the office yet, in order for me to do these videos, always, I have to get out of the house because I've got barking dogs, or I do it on my lunch hour. I've done that for a long time. How to make a decision that if I was going to share 30 years of knowledge and experience, I had to go do it in a place where the acoustics aren't too bad, But I had to not be stuck. I had to not be stuck if I was in the wrong law firm or in the wrong area of law for me. It didn't, some areas, didn't fit my personality. That has nothing to do with your personality. That's a personal thing. And you will know that once you're in the field. And you know which one fits you the best. Okay. So, new direction, that's a choice. Taking a risk, it's not really that much of a risk. Okay? So, how do you get unstuck? Again, you have to know what these triggers are that put you in that place. Why are you bogging down and whirling around in the world of stuck? What? Figure that out. Dig deep. Watch yesterday's video. Watch things that are inspirational instead of shows and movies that are negative, that play in your head, that bring you to a dark place. It's not healthy. So make those choices. You need to have inspiration smack you right between the eyes so that you will get off the couch and go do, or research on your couch, but get unstuck and then pat yourself on the back for doing something. Was it yesterday's or I think it was the day before, about re-scripting, rewriting your story, okay? So it looks as if, and it is true, that you're taking a different path, right? You can rewrite your story. It doesn't, look, I made mistakes in my life, and I was not married and had a baby. I know that sounds like that's not that unusual now, but in 1974, it still was very unusual. I know my mother had me and wasn't married. My grandmother had her oldest child and wasn't married. There were choices all of us made. And then that can follow you, and some people will want to keep you stuck and keep you in your place. And you don't have, there's no place like that. You don't, oh, hold on, guys. I've got a phone call coming in. Okay, got rid of it. Hope that didn't play in your ear too much there. Okay, so you're going to re-script this story. You don't have to be stuck in the past. Remember what the verse said that I read you from Isaiah 43, 18 to 19? Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. And the other thing is being empowered enough to step into your purpose, the purpose that God has for you. No negative self-talk. We'll do negative self-talk, but then we won't say those positive things to ourselves. That, hey, that was a great job I did. That's why I tell you to do this. And sometimes we've been raised to not be self-absorbed be absorbed within ourselves and to think too highly of ourselves. Well, God thinks we're worthy. And it's not bragging to say, I did a good job, to yourself, and say, I think I nailed that, to somebody else. If you said to me, I think I nailed that motion that I created, I think I really nailed it, I would be clapping. I would understand that feeling that, oh man, I nailed that. I nailed that, the trial notebook or whatever it is, that the project you had to work on. Boy, I organized the whole file cabinet. Well, that makes life easier when you do that stuff. That's huge. That's huge. So other people in the field understand that. Well, they should. So pat yourself on the back. You up your game in Microsoft Word and learn new skills, advanced skills and all that, as I talked about yesterday. Pat yourself on the back and feel good about that. It doesn't matter that I had a baby out of wedlock and that should stop me for the rest of my life. That my baby is is going to be 46 years old, you know, and she wasn't married when she had my grandson. Now, I don't recommend this, but there's no condemnation. And yet people will do that, and that is something that may keep you down and keep you stuck. It doesn't matter what it is. People like to prey on those they perceive to be gentler. I won't say weak, but more gentle, you know, or you're quiet. So it's okay to speak up. It's okay to be unstuck. It's okay not to listen to the naysayers or people that want to keep you in whatever place it is they think you should remain in. It's not necessary. Okay, so let's take off. The birdies have to fly. It's time to fly and take that leap. And watch the last two videos especially. This career's not going anyplace. Say those good things about yourself, right? Instead of, oh, I really screwed up there. I made a mess of things, blah, 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 blah. That does not help you. You have to acknowledge it. And then my husband used to say this when we were first married, but what are we going to do about it? Like, what's the solution? Because he was a chemical engineer, and this is where his mind was all the time, how he operated. Like, what's the solution for this? And I would go, I don't know. In my family, it was more about running around and being condemned because a mistake happened, whatever the mistake was. And it could be something minimal. And, you know, my parents would be in like an emotional, like, bleh. And in my husband's family, it was more about, let's try to solve this problem. So it's a better way to go. Yeah. Bridget says, I have experienced that, people trying to put you in an inferior place. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter what career you're in, you will meet people like this, right? In every walk of life. That's because their insecurities within themselves are so great that they have to put you down in order to raise themselves higher, but it never works within their own head. So remember that you pick your battles, and you have to not let those remarks when you go into the legal field, because there will be those. You have to understand you're already valuable. You're already valuable. And you didn't have to add any new skill sets for God to look at you and go, you are valuable. Truly. So you're already starting at the gate with extreme value. So anything that you add skill set wise is to benefit you, to make your job easier. It's to benefit you, to make your job easier and smoother and less stressful and all of that. That's why I really promote that on this page, to go do that before you enter this field. Because it's darn hard to do it afterwards. It's possible, but you're really busy, and it's hard to, when you go home at night, to feel like when you've had a lot to do, you feel tired mentally. So now's the time to do it, right? Hey, Chaz. Chaz says, I'm so excited to start my paralegal classes next week. I'm nervous to start, yes, suspenseful on this new career. Thanks for your inspiration. You are welcome. There will be smooth parts along this journey, and there will be rocks. It's just the way it is. But the rocks don't need to, you know, the barriers or the boulders that get put in your way. It doesn't mean that you have to be stuck. So that's, you know, I want you to remember this. I don't have to be stuck because there's a barrier. I have to learn to solve it. How can I get around it? Do I need to climb it? Well, maybe. But you might find a way around it or through it. So understand that every single person who's been in this career or is trying to get into it now faces this. And it's not smooth sailing. Don't expect that. Just go, oh, this is a barrier. I don't get this. Okay, got to figure it out. Because when you're on the job, there will be new things like that you have to figure out. You won't know everything going in. So don't expect that. You just try your hardest and become someone who soaks up information. Have your skill sets as your base. Your Microsoft Word, maybe beginning Excel, maybe beginning PowerPoint. You can learn those seriously in a few hours, the last two that I mentioned. And I'm talking basic Excel and PowerPoint, very basic, okay? So stop the negative self-talk. Okay. So let's talk about 8 things real quick. You can't move forward when you're still looking backwards. Okay? Looking at that obstacle and fretting over it will only it'll seem like it's growing in front of you, you know? It seems like it's getting bigger. Don't do that. Your emotions are teachers. Why is this upsetting to you? What's the trigger? You know, if someone makes a disparaging remark while you're on the job and you feel like going into having like a little road rage moment, why is that? What's making you feel like that? Excuse me. Because if there was too much negativity on you in the past, that could be a trigger. Okay? Excuse me. Inspiration won't chase you down. You go after inspiration. So whether it is a quote, and that's why I post quotes on here, because I know they're very inspiring to me, and I know that in many instances they minister to you all, and that's why I do that. It just stops you and makes you think, and that's what I need. And I chase down inspiration by looking at quotes, and then I share them with you here on the page. So chase down those inspirational things, not things that are so negative that are online and, like I said, in movies, plays, or music even, that is negative, that'll bring you to a dark place. Why? Don't make that choice, okay? Number 5, you can't control your thoughts 100%, but you can choose which ones that you entertain, that you linger on. You know, I've had to, there's a tragedy in our family unfolding right now with a family member that is going to pass away. And so, yeah, there's the family is feeling sorrow, as many families are feeling right now. So do I want to entertain that grief all day long? No. You need a respite. You need that space from that. And you choose whether to focus on it all day long or just in segments. You give yourself a break from that, okay? But that's a choice. Number 6, your words are tools. When I work, you know, when I'm inside the law firm or working from the house, how I speak to my coworkers or online, it's very calculated in a good way. If I'm asked when I'm going to have something done, I'm going to be very realistic. And then I will ask a question, when do you need it? So that if you have to review it, and I'm talking to the attorney, they'll be honest with me and say, well, as soon as you can get it done. I said, okay, is that the highest priority item? Like, I really talk about these things. I want it clear what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm the employee, as you will be, not the owner. So I've owned businesses, then I call the shots. I don't call the shots when I work for a lawyer. They do. So the communication is vitally important, and how I communicate. And in my past, I was an extreme introvert. I had to learn, seriously, I'm not kidding, had to learn how to carry on a conversation and do it properly. You know, just, I don't mean that, you know, this is all super formal, but attorneys are great at asking questions. I learned from them. So I ask a question, when do you need it? Because if we need to make this number one on the to-do list, let's do that. Then let's go ahead and we'll do that. And because they're worrying about other things, and we might not have a clue what they're worrying about. They've got other things going on that we're not involved in. So communication, how you communicate, you know, and asking questions is very important. Shyness has to go out the window. Okay, we can't use that as an excuse. It will get us into trouble. Okay, so your words are tools. How you speak to yourself, again, no negative self-talk. You find yourself doing it, oh, stop it. Okay, because it'll bring you down. Number 7, what is at the center of your life that controls your life? Big question. You know, all of this can change in a heartbeat. My career could change in a heartbeat, and it has, as far as who I was working for. I've watched law firms fall apart, and then I had no job. I've watched partnerships dissolve. It happens. But when you build a career for yourself, and you don't look at it as a 9-to-5 job, you build a career, then and you have those skill sets that are rock solid, you can take that to other places. You build a flexible career for yourself. But the center of my life is God, is my Savior Jesus. That's the center of my life. He never changes, but everything around me changes. So the world isn't going to fall apart because a law firm dissolved, you know? So I know that in spite of all this chaos with COVID-19, that he never changes. So that's the stability, okay? The career shouldn't be like, oh, and put it on a pedestal like it is a god. It is not a god. It is a career, period. Don't put that on a pedestal. Don't put attorneys on a pedestal. They're just human beings. Don't look at them as geniuses. They're not. You know, they worked hard to get to where they have arrived, but just like doctors, they're not geniuses. Don't do that, okay? Be realistic about who people are, and be respectful, right? But don't start putting people or things on pedestals. Number 8, to be unstoppable, you must master the moment that you're in. So if you're in a 2-year program, or you're going through a certificate program, or you are a high school graduate, as I've said before, or you have a bachelor's or a master's in some other area, you've still got to make decisions that you're going to research areas of law, which ones fit you. You're going to have to up your game with your skill sets undoubtedly than what they are right now. You have time, and if it's just an hour a day or 45 minutes, you can do it. You have to look at that moment in time and make it useful to you. Work it. Make it useful to you. I used to ask myself, how can I up my game as a paralegal? Even when I had years of experience, I go, how can I up my game a little bit more? What am I lacking? That's a question to ask yourself. What are you lacking? And I don't mean 2 years of education. I mean practical, everyday knowledge. If you can join us in the Paralegal Inner Circle class before it closes on the 15th at midnight, join us. Okay? I've had people join me while they were in the 2-year program, while they were taking a certificate program, or they were high school graduates and there's no college involved, or they already had a degree in something else in history. So understand that that's available to you to up your game to the nth degree. Okay, so go to the website paralegalcoffeetalk.com and look for the Paralegal Inner Circle class info. Okay, and that will tell you more. Now, also, as I said early on in the video, make sure while you're on the website paralegalcoffeetalk.com, get the 19 alternatives paralegal careers list, and also get the free chapter of my book, Legal Break-In, or you can get the whole book. There'll be another tab for that, but that free chapter is available to you. So being stuck is very common. We can be working in a law firm and feel stuck. We may discover that, I know I got my foot in the door, but I don't like this type of law. Does that mean I'm stuck? No. You don't have to be stuck. You make decisions. You're not stuck because you're specializing in personal injury and you can't move anywhere else. That's not true. Okay? Not true at all. So give yourself breathing room, give yourself that freedom to change yourself and to change your career path within law if you need to. That it may be that first job was fine for a year or two, but you're not feeling that you're being stretched, and you need more work or whatever it is you need, you can go after that. Okay? So any questions or comments, post them. Thanks for being here. If you posted something and I'm not seeing it, I'll look after I'm off here. But feel free to post comments or questions on this page, or go to the Paralegal Break-In group if you're not in the legal field in any capacity. Okay? Do not ask to join if you are in the legal field. This is for people who are total beginners. All right, so have a great day. I think that's all I have today, and I'll be back probably tomorrow with another video. But thanks for being here, Bridget, and anybody else here with me live, and anybody watching on replay. I appreciate you all. Have a great night. And what is tonight? Wednesday? Yeah. And I'm losing track. And I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye. Take care.